Hello everybody, welcome to the Rex Bikes video, and today guys is a very special day because we're getting the version 19 OEMs. Finally, we've waited almost 2 years for this next version, moving from 18 to 19. And before we get into any riding and testing, we do a lot in this video. I want to talk about the patch notes, okay? We have to start off with what they say is being changed so we can test it, figure it out, see what we like, see what we don't like. Let's get into the patch notes right now, boys. All right, boys, we're going to start at the top here with tires. Now, obviously, we talked about this with the preview bikes. We do have brand new tires with the version 19 bikes. And they work based on wheel load. Okay, so wheel load is basically the amount of force or weight applied to each wheel, and that can be influenced through techniques such as body position, throttle control, braking, and terrain adaptation. So that's really the main part of this update is the tires. That's what everyone's really focusing on, and obviously that loss of traction, getting the bike to slide out a little bit more, kind of like real life, is the main focus of this update. And then we move on to the tire roster. Now, we're going into this a little bit more as I test the bikes, but just to go over it real quick, all classes have the same front wheel, which is the 8100. And then the rear tires are going to be a bit different than the preview bikes. Okay, you're going to see 2 compounds in the rear for both the MX1 and MX2. There was 4 different compounds that was tested in the preview bikes. So keep that in mind. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in the video as we test. And then what's changed about the bikes is we have enhanced steering to complement the new tires and recent game updates from beta 19. So you're going to notice, I'll say in this video, the front end, and I've said this a lot with the previews as well, the front end is very stable now. It's like turning is like the same, but it's different. It's more reliable in a way. So you'll see that as we test. Also optimized power delivery for all bikes. This isn't in the patch notes, but they've also upped the power for the Suzuki and the Kawasaki. Okay, I have old patch notes here. There's going to be new ones on the mods post and on their website, but I have some old ones that I'm looking at right now. So that's really important, okay? We're going to be testing the Suzuki on this video. I'm so hyped. And then improved power to the ground for the MX2 class, optimized temperature management for better overall performance, and then refined shift helper for more realistic responses, ensuring a fairer distinction between bikes with and without quick shift. That is an insane update, and that's good. I don't know if I'm really going to be able to feel it because I already don't really feel too much of a difference between quick shift and just regular shift in this game. Like, there's definitely a difference, but it's not massive. So I find that really interesting. Then they have an update to engine damage. I'm not going to talk about that because it's like a super rare case. Also enhanced usability of gear 4 and 5. So that's interesting. And then increased rear brake strength. We kind of talked about that with the previews. I didn't really feel that when they said that they made the rear brake a bit more viable. It probably is. I mean, I don't really have too many issues with the rear brake. And then also audio improvements as well. So those are all the patch notes. The main things though, obviously, is the new tires, how the front end feels. Improved power to the ground for the MX2 class also is pretty interesting. And then the improved power for the Suzuki and the Kawasaki in the MX1 class. So let's go around the video, boys. Let's hop on our bike. Let's have some fun today. Listen, we do love patch notes, all right? It tells us the specifics, what they're trying to get across to us. But at the end of the day, boys, how the bike is riding is really all that matters. And as I say in every video, don't take what I say as gospel. You guys have to try these bikes. Obviously, they are free, and the MXB mods link is going to be in the description. They always tell you guys how to download them, so you have no excuse not to put these in your game, get into a testing server, get into an online server, and have some fun on these things. But that's what we're going to be doing today. Now, I do obviously have these bikes early. That's why this video is uploading right when they release. But I haven't been riding this version right here that is releasing. Now, I've tested all of the preview bikes, but in recent weeks when they've tried to come up with the final version to release, I haven't really had time to test. I've been busy with school, obviously busy with videos every single day. So this is literally my first impression really on these bikes. I've done a few laps here on this Husqvarna 450, and as you guys can see, I'm very rusty, but yeah, just a few laps. The reason I'm on the Husky 450 to start is because this is the bike that I've been riding the most in outdoors. And so, yeah, we're just going to kind of get right into this, talk about what I'm feeling, what I like, what I don't like. And so far, boys, here at MXGP USA 2015, this is obviously Glen Helen. Pretty rough track, a lot of hills. I think this is a great track to test the bikes on. And so we're going to kind of flip through a couple 450s, flip through a couple 250s, and then move to Supercross, probably do the same thing. But so far, what am I feeling? Now, when I first got on these bikes today, okay, right after I downloaded them, right when I loaded in, they felt a bit heavier, okay? And I thought that was quite interesting, but they don't really ride like they're heavier. So I'm not exactly sure why I was feeling that, but definitely something that I felt early on. It felt kind of minor, but that was something I felt. And then also, obviously, the back end is slipping. Now, we're running a 120 in the back here. They actually took out the 100 rear, which to me makes a ton of sense. They also took out the 120/90. It's just the 120/80 now. So we only have 2 tire options for the rear, 1 for the front. It makes sense because I'm going to be honest, when I was reviewing the preview 4 bikes, I I mean, I straight up said, like, this 100 tire is useless. Like, there's absolutely no reason to have this in the game. No one's going to use it. It's horrendous. And it's true. So I do want to test both the 120 and 110 and see which one is better. Now, I'm obviously going to probably think the 120 is going to be better, but as long as they're close, then they're both going to be viable. But so far, 120 is feeling pretty good. And I'm just trying to get used to this bike right now. I'm also trying to get used to this track. This is a pretty hard track, and I have a default setup on. So if these bikes can handle this track, then that means they definitely work. That's always kind of the first test. Do the freaking bikes work? Yes, I can tell you that right steaking now. They work absolutely fine. And something that's kind of surprised me, because again, it's my first time freaking on these bikes after testing the preview 4s. I haven't touched a single OEM work in progress anything. This is my first time back on these bikes since preview number 4. I'm surprised at how similar these bikes feel to the current bikes that we have in game. Now, there obviously are some standout differences. To me, the biggest difference is the front end. It feels like it's really hard to tuck the front end now, guys. Really hard. And I think that has to do with two things. The first thing being that they reworked some type of physics within the front end. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it definitely feels like they've touched it. But also, since the back end actually slides out now, like I just slid around that entire corner, power slid, felt really good. The front end's not taking on as much of a load, right? The back end's actually stepping out, like real life, as we know. Dirt bikes rarely have 100% traction. Actually, they almost never do. You're constantly at a loss of traction. It's just what percentage of loss are you at? Because when you're on the power in dirt, you know, dirt isn't concrete. It's not a solid material. You're gonna kick it back and you're gonna slide on it. That's just how it is. So to actually get that sliding feeling in the corners feels really, really good, and so far has felt really controllable. Now, Supercross, I think, is gonna tell us a bit more of a story about how these bikes feel through the corners and how they slide. But so far, motocross in ruts, I mean, feels pretty damn good, and this is a pretty hard track, so doesn't surprise me too much here that that we are working ourselves around this raceway pretty damn good. And as far as what is the meta bike, I'll probably make a video on that in the future, but so far, I mean, Husky feeling pretty damn good. But we also have that power buff to the Suzuki and the KX, so we definitely have to test those two bikes. Let's actually do that right now. Let's go get on the RMZ. All right, guys, now we are on the Suzuki. I'm gonna go over that rut because I'm very good at the game. And apparently, they boosted the power a little bit to come in line with the other bikes. Same with the KX. Guys, this has me so hyped. Okay, I had no part in making this happen, by the way, okay? They didn't do it because the Jan likes the Suzuki, but obviously people have been talking about how some bikes just don't really have the power that others do. Obviously the KTM, Husky, Gas, Yamaha, those are kind of like the four main bikes. And so it's kind of hard to use the Suzuki in outdoors or the KX because it just doesn't have the power. And so even if they can make it a little bit closer, that's what people were asking, it'd be more viable. So that's what we've gotten here with the Suzuki. At least that's what they say. Now, I don't know if I'm really going to be able to feel it or not, okay? Because when the Jan hops on the Suzuki, he's always just whipped around the raceway. So it's like, can I really go much faster, guys? But no. I mean, I don't think they're lying, right? So I don't even think I need to sit here and test it, really. Does the bike feel super overpowered? No. It feels actually pretty similar to the Husky, which is a good thing. But I'm mainly just looking at these physics, man, and trying to feel the back tire and the front end, and I'm just loving it so far. Like, I don't have any strong feelings about anything yet. Again, I think Supercross is where a lot of the strong feelings will probably come in, but with motocross, just right around the track, I'm having no issues. I really enjoy it. I love that the back end is sliding out a little bit. Obviously, I do have to get used to it, and there's no way that tough luck get collisions. But nothing's really standing out right now. Obviously, they talked about stuff with engine braking. I don't really feel that too much. Maybe that's why the bike felt kind of heavy when I first got on it, is the engine braking was kind of kicking in with the lower gears. I'm not exactly sure. It's hard to feel these changes because none of these changes are drastic, right? The biggest changes are the back tire and the front end. That's really all I can really tell you so far. Okay, even the power of this bike, like, I'm not feeling anything too crazy. There's probably something there, but I can't like really definitively tell you that it's like, oh my god, Suzuki is meta. Now, the reason that the Suzuki could end up being meta is because the suspension on the Suzuki is so good. By the way, I'm running stock setups on all these bikes. I'm changing absolutely nothing other than the rear tire. I'm on the 120 rear tire right now. Some of the 450s actually come with the 110 as the stock tire, but I'm just gonna sit on the 120 until I tell you guys I switched to the 110. But so far, the 120 feels really good. Has a decent amount of grip. I don't seem to be losing the back end too much unless I'm doing something stupid. And yeah, I mean, the Suzuki just feels as good as ever, boys. I'm going to try to send it down this hill right here and see if the suspension can soak this up. And I also want to see how this back tire does in this corner when we just send into it. Oh, yeah, slide it in. But again, very controllable, man. One of the things I absolutely despised about Preview 4, you couldn't really control the slide. It just felt like it was infinite. And then a problem I had with the Preview 3 was that when you slid the back end, it like hooked up like mid-slide, and it was kind of uncontrollable in that sense. So this feels like a really happy medium in between. And at least with the 120 back tire. Now, we haven't tried the 110 yet, so that's what we're going to do right now. We're actually going to hop on the Kawasaki, put the 110 on, see how we be doing, boys. All right, green bean time, Kawasaki time. Can we feel the power difference? Okay, yeah, this one I can definitely feel it. Whoa. And I don't ride the Kawi too much. I do have some experience on it, though, from the previous bikes. And we are also on the 110 tire now, so I want to feel how viable this tire is. Now, I feel like it's going to be a bit faster in speed, but I feel like it's going to lose more traction when we lean her over. So let's test this right here. Oh, yeah, we're losing the back end there again. Very controllable slide, though, which is good. Oh, my God. Now, the stock suspension of the KX is, yeah, I don't personally like it. I mean, listen, I've seen some fast dudes like Skills hop on the Kawasaki and just destroy everyone. So I think at the end of the day, you can make all these bikes work because they are very similar. And now that there's a, you know, the power's been evened out a little bit, I think that's going to make them even more viable. But yeah, I mean, suspension makes it down the hill, so it's not that bad. It could just be a skill issue. This 110, though, I'm trying to really test it. I mean, it does slide more, right? But I can't tell if it's like quicker or not. It just feels like I can turn sharper for sure, especially when I'm sitting down. But if I'm standing and I'm trying to turn sharp, it's definitely losing traction. It's definitely doing the slide a little bit earlier than I'd like it to, which makes me want to lean towards the 120. Maybe there's other advantages to this tire that I haven't fully understood yet. Definitely helps with turning, though. I mean, you can still lean these bikes over, by the way. Oh my goodness. All right, scrub this. I'm gonna try to go for a heater right now. I'm gonna really push this Kawi to its limits. Also, leaning forward in the corners, guys, let me just tell you right now, that's probably the new meta. When you lean forward, you get so much more traction in the rear than if you lean back. So when you're going into a corner, start to lean forward a little bit, try to learn that, and you should have more traction. That's if you're struggling with sliding out. I think most of you guys probably won't, to be honest. You got to have throttle control on these bikes, but when you do, the back end's not really sliding that much. Not as much as I thought they would after obviously testing all those previews. So I'm a bit surprised right now, guys. I really am. But we got to go to Supercross where the, you know, we're going to hit some bull corners. They're going to be flat. We got no ruts to support us really in Supercross. So I do definitely want to test that. But so far, we are absolutely barking this KX. Again, absolutely default setup except for the 110 tire. This is going to be the scary part, though. Can I make it down this? Dude, I love sliding the back end of these corners. It feels so much fun. Okay, I'm getting upside down here, if I can. Dude, okay, that's another thing. With the back tire sliding a little bit more, you can throw the nastiest whips and scrubs. It's absolutely insane. That's one of my favorite parts, okay? Because we could actually get a little bit more schmeezy. I don't know why I'm standing around that corner, but I do have auto set off because I turned it off for MX Nations, so I'm not going to be sitting as much as I usually do. But that was a pretty good lap, actually. Little 158.6. Dude, listen, the 110 is good. It's a good tire. Now, I can't definitively tell you that it's better than the 120, but I can tell you 100% that it is viable in motocross, guaranteed. All right, guys, we're moving on from the 450s, at least for the motocross portion of this video. We're now on the Husqvarna 250. Now, if you guys watch my videos, obviously you will know I don't really ride 250s anymore. I'm more of a 450 only guy. So I'm actually really excited to get back on the 250s here and test these babies out. We're going to start here on the Husky. This is definitely the 250 that I like the most from the previous version of bikes that we had. So we're going to push this bike. Another thing to note is the back tires are a little bit different on these bikes. You have the 110 and the 100 tire on the 250s. You do not have a 120 tire anymore. So I think that's really interesting. And I'm gonna tell you something right off the bat. Okay, right off the bat, this 110 tire is grippy, grippy, grippy. Okay, it's a bit of a grip reaper. We're still gonna lose a little bit of traction there, but I mean, even on the old bikes, I feel like I lost traction up that hill. So, man, these bikes have a lot of traction. Now, obviously, they have a lot less power than the 450s, and they are lighter bikes, but they're gripping up. You want to talk about what's an easy bike to ride? This bike feels easy as hell to ride. Like, extremely easy to ride. Okay, that was not the front end. That was me hitting my bars on the ground. I did that a little bit in practice when I was testing the Husky 450, so I probably just stopped taking that rut. Or just stop standing through it. I'm in way too high of a gear. I got used to the sound mod, dude. I'm gonna have a sound mod on it. I got used to the stock sound of this bike. I haven't heard it in so long. Okay, clip this. Now, they said increased power to the ground. All right, that is in the patch notes. And, man, I'm trying to think if I can feel, like, these bikes feel different. I can tell you right now, the 250 feels different. It feels heavier, okay? I'll say that initially. It kind of has that same feeling as the 450s. I can't really put my finger on what it is, though, you know? Dude, these bikes feel so good. No, dude. The 250s? Oh my god. I might be getting placebo right now. This feels amazing. But I can't, like, put my finger on what it is. It might just be that they just get power to the ground more. I guess. Ooh, that slide feels so good, bro. Oh, I'm dead. No, I'm not. Amazing stock suspension. You serious right now? Okay, shift down. Definitely not a fan of the stock gearing. Maybe I'm just in way too high of a gear. I feel like I'm in like third gear right now, so shift down a second. Up to fourth down this hill, shift to third, shift to second. Oh my god, I scrubbed the shite out of that, dude. Okay, man, this bike just feels great. Now, the back tire really doesn't slide much at all, but still the bike feels different than the mid-18s. You know? See, it slides there, but there is still a lot of control, so I got no negatives to say about it at all. Like, if anything, to me, I just want more, a little bit more slide, okay? A little bit more slide. But I do want to check the lap times after this lap. Definitely haven't been riding this bike to my full potential at all, or its full potential at all, but the 250s, man, I think they might be a bit more close to the 450s now. Not too much more, but definitely a bit more. I'm just bogging this thing around it. I haven't ridden the 250s in a while, boys. Yeah, so we ran a 2-minute flat. They're only 2 seconds off that time I ran on the Cowie. So we're now going to get on another 250, put the 100 tire on, and see how that works. All right, boys, Honda 250 time, and this bike is loud. What the hell? Hope you guys can still hear my voice, but the reason I'm on the Honda is because this is a bike that is definitely the weirdest feeling of all the 250s. Oh my god. Weirdest feeling in the previous state. I don't know how it feels now, but what the hell? Dude. This thing barks. Why is it so loud, though? God damn, I'm getting ear raped. I'm gonna have to fix that. Oh god. Maybe it's always been like that. I've always ran like a sound mod, so I don't really know. Okay. Dude. These bikes feel so good up hills. They just feel so like you can just control them. Have I even like really crashed in this video? I don't even remember. Okay, almost died there. Oh my god. I don't know what they did with the gearing, or maybe it's, you know, power to the ground. On the previous bikes, I would still bog after shifting down. But right when I shifted down, the power was given to me immediately. Like, I could actually utilize power. That's a different feeling, bro. That's a feeling I never really got on the previous bikes. You could also just, like, wheelie these things a lot more. Now, the 100 tire, to be honest, kind of feels similar to how the 110 felt on the 450. So they're different tires, but they sort of feel the same on the different bikes. Like, the 110 feels like the 120. And then the 100 feels like the 110 for the other bike. I'm loving the Honda 250, boys. I'm just going to be honest. Maybe I love all the 250s, but so far, this is definitely better than the Husky in my opinion. But yeah, everything feels good. Everything feels viable. The 100 feels really good. It goes really fast in a straight line, that's for sure. And this freaking Honda 250 is railing, bro. Let me get schmeezy, why don't we? Oh my god, dude. All right, boys. Now we're on Supercross. We're here at Anaheim 2. I'm going to be on the old Dookie 450. Obviously, this is the bike I absolutely love in Supercross, so we're going to test this thing out. I also turned my gear thing on here for max HUD so I can actually see what gear I'm in. I'm sorry. I probably should have had that on the whole time. I forgot that all the bikes that I have ridden so far, I have a sound mod on for the other bikes, so I can't really use my brain to understand what gear I'm in, but so far, a lot of spin on the rear tire. Not a surprise at all, okay? Now, we do have some ruts on this track, so kind of get to test multiple things. Okay, whoop section felt interesting. Can I jump them? Oh, man. Now, Supercross, a lot of it is about setup, all right? Motocross, not so much. Supercross, setup does matter, and I am riding this completely stock, so let's see how this goes. Can we hit this quad? Okay, we can hit that quad on the 450 on the 120 tire. That is confirmed. We're gonna go inside here. Oh wow, this is gonna take some skill here for me. Gonna take some throttle control. Oh wow, I got a huge speed boost there on the back tire. It definitely puts power to the ground. Holy crap. Okay, leaning forward is definitely meta. I'm confirming that now. Can I get this triple? Oh, nice. Stock suspension on this bike is so good. I think the jumping into the corner meta might have been patched, boys. With the wheel slide, I think it might have been patched. We'll see. Can I just skim these? Yeah, I'm feeling something weird, though, with the rear tire through the whoops. Like, it feels like when I go through the whoops, I'm getting, like, insane speed boost when the rear tire grips up on the top of the whoop, which I don't know. It feels weird as hell. So we gotta keep testing that. We'll do one more lap, try to do a heater. But yeah, I mean, bikes are rideable. Obviously, the back end's it's coming out, right? So I mean, I basically just slid that entire corner and I was half throttle. So it's gonna be skill gapped. All right, these bikes are gonna be harder to ride. But it's going to make racing closer. It's going to make the game harder, which is good because the game's way too easy. But not so hard that you can't play it. Like, it's now down to, are you willing to slow down to be successful in the game? If you're not, you're going to struggle, especially initially. But if you're willing to slow down a little bit and kind of just be patient around the track, there's really nothing wrong with them. I still don't understand the whoops, though. I mean, it is like, it's almost like game glitchy type feeling through the whoops. I'm not sure if I'll get that same feeling on the 110 tire, so I'll try that after I finish this lap. Yeah, if you lean forward through the corners, kind of like MX Sim, that's like my best way to describe it, is you gotta lean forward through the corners in MX Sim. It kind of feels like that. I don't know why I went for that quad again. I thought I was him. I'm clearly not. I love the way the bikes whip, though. They feel so freaking good. All right. Now we're gonna hop on the 110s and just kind of see how they feel in the corners. All right, 110 tire. Let's test her out. See how she's feeling. Already, it's faster in a straight line. Oh my god, it's way faster. Well, not way faster, but it's noticeable. Oh my god. I keep scrubbing that too hard. Oh my god. It's definitely more slippery, but it's controlled. Okay, I'm not gonna go for that triple. I'll go for this one though. Mercy bounce. Oh my god. Dude, no, the Dookie power upgrade. This might be a new era, dude. What if the Dookie's like just the best bike in the game? Oh man, I don't know. I don't know. We got a lot more testing to do to figure that out, but holy crap, is this fun, and there's a bit of a challenge. There's just a bit of a challenge, ladies and gentlemen. Oh. Okay, let me go for like an actual like fast lap, like really pushing this tire. See if I can even do it. Let's see. Haven't even tested on Supercross other than that one lap I just did. Can I put an absolute barker lap down here day 2? will give us a good idea how much like slower these bikes are than the current ones. I'm making a lot of mistakes though, so maybe this is not a good judge. My throttle control is also absolutely horrific, but this bike has no setup, so the gearing's a little bit off. I'm just tiptoeing. Okay, yeah, that corner's actually pretty easy. You just gotta be smart. Can I get the quad? We can. Grubs are absolutely insane, guys, on these tires. I can't stress that enough. It's unbelievable. Oh my god, the back end gripped hella right there. Let's check the lap time. 103.2, boys. That's a pretty good lap time there on the 450. Now, for me, a common lap on this track would be more like a 101.2 on the previous bike. So only being 2 seconds slower, and I just hopped on it with no setup, that's pretty good. Like, these bikes are not that much slower. They're definitely slower. They're definitely harder. There's more of a skill gap. But I think the fast guys are going to be running pretty close times to what we ran previous on these bikes. I'm going to be honest. You know, they're different, but they're not that much different. All right, boys, now we're on the 250, and I'm going to start on the KTM here. I probably won't even switch bikes, to be honest. I think we'll just test the KTM on the 110 and then the 100 rear. And the reason I'm on the KTM is because obviously it's the bike that I rode during my 250 season of Supercross. So I'm the most familiar with this bike. I didn't want to hop on 250s that I hadn't ridden beforehand. Same with the 450s too. All those bikes I had ridden. Just to make testing them a little bit easier. I'm definitely struggling on the 250 so far on this track. Remember, these tracks are not scaled for these bikes, okay? The turns aren't shaped up for them. The whoops aren't built for them. Everything is a different scaling, so you have to remember that. And then the SMX tracks will have scaling for these bikes, I would think, right? I mean, SMX has been delayed, like, I think over a month, actually, until the first round of SMX, so... Anyway, can we still ride these tracks, though, right? We spent a decent amount of money on them. All of us that bought the season pass. So can we still use them? So far, I would say yes. Definitely going to be a bit harder, though. This is only the 110 tire, so... Let me try to get a good lap right here. Definitely casing stuff. Come on. Scrub this. It's weird how I'm just like barely too slow on certain things. Like you can tell I just still have the muscle memory from the old bikes. That triple is a bit massive because the takeoff's so tiny. Oh wow. Yeah, this default bike setup is not great for Supercross. I'm just gonna say that right now. It's actually pretty good in that whoop section though. Okay, can we get this triple in nice and clean? I'm gonna go second gear, lean forward. Yeah, second gear is just not enough with this gear ratio. I should have went third, but I mean, listen, track ride's pretty, I mean, decent, you know? I'm definitely a bit of a skill issue because I don't really ride the 250 much, but for the most part, it's not a big deal, and I'm not like sliding out too much in the corners. I can still hit most of the lines. But you're definitely going to want to have some throttle control. That's something I got to develop a bit more, especially on the 250s, because sometimes it can seem like you need to hold down the throttle, but you actually don't. It's counterproductive in some situations, but it's hard to mentally understand that. You look at a jump face, you're like, I have to just pin it. But if you get that back wheel spinning, you know, there's really no point in pinning it. And as far as like engine braking, I feel like I definitely feel more engine braking on these 250s. And it's weird that in motocross, the 250s felt like even with the 450s almost, like at least closer to the 450s. But in Supercross, you can really see the difference. I mean, it's massive. So I'm gonna try to do third gear here. Okay, I'm gonna mess up. Let me try this again. Really isn't a good corner to show this off on, but I just want to show that you can still hit the triple in. I don't know if it's a gearing or what. It feels like I need a gear in between second and third to hit this, but anyway, let's get on the 100. Maybe we get a little bit more speed in a straight line. I was also running almost 2 gallons of gas there, which is the stock amount of gas, so that might have weighed me down a little bit as well there, because I was barely casing stuff, but now we're on the 100 rear, and I'm ready to go, boys. Or the gas a little bit as well, so I did modify the setup a bit. You don't need 1.9 gallons of gas for Supercross, so... Oh man, that's a stretch. We'll go back to second gear here. How the whoops gonna feel? That was actually a decent run through the whoops. Still pretty sketchy though. You don't really get that weird like acceleration feeling on the 250s that you do on the 450s. Damn, I'm struggling on this KTM right now. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna be honest, man. Instantly, I think the 100 rear is better in Supercross. And I kind of had the same opinion on the 450s. I think the 110 rear is better than the 120 in Supercross. So the tires are viable and they work. And I can't tell you distinctly right now which one is truly better because people are going to do a lot more testing. I'm going to do a lot more testing. But off of first impressions, I think for motocross, both tires are pretty damn even. Like, I couldn't really find one that was better than the other. But Supercross so far, I think the thinner tire is better on both bikes. The 450s and the 250s. But man, I need a setup resulted on this freaking KTM. Or maybe I'm just suck at the game. I don't know what's going on. But I can't even hit the most simple rhythm sections here, so... Let me redeem myself the rest of this lap real quick for my own sanity. Can I do the line there? Okay, that was actually kind of fire. I'm not getting a lot of rear end slip, though. I was expecting a lot more, because this is the 100 rear, but... Low-key, if you lean forward, you don't even really get any. I don't know how I just cleared that, I'm gonna be honest. Maybe you gotta just seat bounce more. I'm not someone that usually seat bounces too much. Maybe it's like seat bounce meta on the 250s now. Alright, I kind of redeemed myself the rest of that lap. Made it look pretty easy, but yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on these bikes. Haven't tested them in sand yet. That can kind of wait for a later video, but yeah, got on every bike, got on all the rear tires, and I have to say that I like them. I don't think there's any big issues with them other than the whoops. That's my biggest issue right now, is how they feel in the whoops. At least the 450s on the 120 rear. It just feels like you get this crazy unrealistic speed boost to the whoops. I don't like that feeling at all. Maybe there's nothing we can do about it. Maybe it's how the whoops are shaped. I don't really know, but that's my only critique, really. I like the rest of it. The tires feel good. They feel balanced. You get, you know, 2 compounds in the rear for each bike, the 40s and 250s, and they feel pretty even. So no complaints from me, boys. Hit that like button, and yeah, see you guys next video. Go get these bikes, link in the description.